That's the power of connection. Now, this was something, that we talk about. We can activate this state. We talk about how important it is. And I grew up in a farming community, and my dad had a very big family. And so aunts and uncles and cousins lived all the way around us. I had about 70 cousins growing up. That's pretty cool. And these are first cousins, not second cousins and third cousins. These are first cousins. We grew up in a geographical location where we could get to each other very, very quickly and spend time with each other. My cousin at that time, who was a few years older than me, she was pitching in a national softball tournament. That's pretty cool. That was a big deal. She was pitching in this national softball tournament. And that tournament was actually being held very close to where we lived. And so aunts and uncles and cousins and everybody, we got gathered up and we were going. I was 12 years old. I had signs. I had cheers. This is going to be an amazing day. And so we went and we watched that tournament and had fun, my cousins, and we, the junk food and all that kind of fun stuff. At the end of the day, I'm driving home with my aunt and uncle, couple of my cousins in this car. And as we're driving, my aunt pointed out that she thought she could see smoke in the distance. As we got a little bit closer, she thought it was coming from where we were growing up. As we got closer, we could see that it was coming from our family farm. I don't remember very much about that day where we lost absolutely everything. If it wasn't for this particular picture in the local newspaper, I probably wouldn't even be able to remember what that looked like. What I absolutely do remember, though, are the firemen. I remember them rushing around trying to salvage whatever they could. I remember cars lined up on that dirt road for as far as you could see, neighbors who came from everywhere to lend a hand, to share a kind word, to support my mom and dad. I remember the community center doing a dance to raise money. I remember people bringing food. I remember the Mennonites. Now, this is not their picture. I didn't have a camera at that time, but I remember them coming. It was the middle of November. It was cold and it was snowy. And they would come into our basement to warm up and eat their lunch. People we had never met were coming to help rebuild that barn. It was the people who helped my parents to get through that time where they lost absolutely everything. It was the people that we mourned when we started to go through COVID, that lack of connectedness, of not being able to see people. That is why these kinds of days of bringing people together to connect are so incredibly important. They help us to know that we're not in it alone, that they are people who get what we do, who can cheer us on or can share a kind word or can share some strategies. That's why it's so incredibly important that we look at who's in our support circle. Who can we talk to? Who can we vent to? Who's been there? Who's done that? Who do we look up to? Who can we have fun with? Pets are in that circle, right? Kids are in that circle. Spirituality is in that circle. That belief in something bigger than yourself is part of it. So we can activate that state. Whenever we come together as a group, this is a perfect opportunity. Whenever we share our stories of how we've overcome, whenever we ask for help, you elicit that tend and befriend response. Sometimes we think we shouldn't be asking for help, that we should, as leaders, be the ones that you're there for everybody else, and that it's a mistake or a weakness if we reach out to somebody else. But when I ask for help from you, it elicits that oxytocin in you, which makes you stronger, more motivated, more courageous, more resilient, and it does so in me as well. How are you reaching out? How are you connecting? Do you have enough people in your support circle to be able to help you through? How are you building teams with the people that you work with?